Well, good evening, folks. It's 9:30 on a grisly, horrible, rainy evening here in the UK. So I put a video on earlier saying, do I or do I not strip this bike and get the frame done? Well, the general consensus is one of do it. And I did want to do it. I know it's a lot involved and it can't be rushed, I suppose. However, I went out to the garage, having listened to my loyal subscribers, all 2,000 of you, not that 2,000 commented, to say just do it. So I thought, yes, I'm going to do it. So I'm not going to be using the bike. It's too rainy anyway. Plus, I've got my pan, and I'll get my Royal Enfield if I'm desperate off my foster son who's borrowed it. So I cracked on and made a start. So this is the reason why I want to get the frame done. I'm getting the swinging arm done in gloss black, and on these bikes, as I said in the previous video, the frame is the same colour as the paintwork. Well, yeah, I can't be bothered with it. It's not going to be a museum piece that has to look absolutely standard. So I'm going to get all this lot done black, the frame. And of course, you get Mission Creep Max on this one. So this is what the bike is beginning to look like. This is the first stage. Tank off, side panels, airbox. Obviously the wheels are off already. And so I took the exhaust cans off. At the moment I can't really take it off the jack because it's supported by the four headers underneath actually. So this is what the bike looks like now, a mere few hours later. It's not actually, it looks even better than that, you'll see in a minute. But that was the first stage really, seat off, side panels. And I found a few shocking things on it, which if you watch this video to the end, you'll see. I'm glad I've done it actually. Quite shocking, and I'm going to need to sort it out. And it's to do with the electrical system. Now on this bike, it's been butchered in the past. It's got a non-standard fuel pump relay where somebody just didn't fit the proper one, and the side stand kill doesn't work, thankfully, and the clutch pull kill doesn't work either. So in other words, I haven't got that irritating system that's on the Royal Enfields where if your side stand switch breaks down, you can't start your bike. These are just simple on-off switches on this bike. So I started taking parts off and stashing them underneath a wooden workbench that somebody gave me, homemade. It's really good. So I thought, right, I'll pile all that stuff up in various places. So I've got plenty of polythene bags anyway that I use for the kits, and I found a Sharpie too. So I thought I'll crack on with that. Take a few bits off. It kind of escalated somewhat. That rear mudguard, rear tail light assembly and everything is so easy to take off. It's amazing. I couldn't believe how easy it was. I was expecting rusty bolts underneath, that shear no, it just slots on to a lug on the frame. So as I progressed, I removed the wiring harness. That's the front fairing rail. So that is the support rail. So here's Mission Creep Max Plus. I thought it was just the frame, the main frame, but I'm going to get that done as well. Because why would you not, having got this far? So look at the bike now, everyone. It's that's where that tailpiece thing comes off, and then obviously I've then removed the rear passenger pillion footrests, all sorts of bits and bobs. Here it is. Look, you saw the pictures earlier. So what we're now about, I don't know, is it 4 hours, 5 hours later? I should be able to remove the steering yoke, take it all off in one go, I think. And then I'll just have a frame with an engine in it and a centre stand. And I've got to take the carbs off, so while I'm at it, I'm going to replace the carburettor cables. There's a push and a pull cable on it. And I did notice when I rebuilt the carbs and cleaned them all that one of them had a slight fray in it. It was one strand, I may as well replace it when I've got this far. So I'm going to buy a push and a pull cable and fit that, or those, and then get the engine out. Now, I suspect the technique with this is to put the bike on a load of towels and sheets and soft surface, as it were, on its side is normally how I've done it on much bigger engines, like a Yamaha XS1100. I've done three of them. So I'm going to lie it on its side, under all the mounting bolts, and then sort of pull the frame off the engine. Unlike the Royal Enfield, it doesn't have a removable frame section, which would facilitate removal of the engine. It's a swine when you come and put the engine back in, because you've got to protect your splendiferous new powder-coated frame from getting chipped to blazes when you try and get the engine back in. So that will be laid on its side on some soft stuff, and I should be able to lift the frame off the engine. Now this is the wiring harness, and as I say, the clutch kill doesn't work, the side stand switch doesn't work, so thankfully they don't kill the engine. And it's had a previous owner or owners who've snipped off things, put that non-standard fuel relay on, which is annoying. Now I can get a whole new harness from Germany for about 40 quid. I don't know whether to do it. I think I might, because when you look at some of this is the wire from the side stand switch. Now it's got a block terminal you can't see at the bottom there, at the bottom of the picture, but if you look at the top there, you can see it's just burned through completely. It's not connected to anything. It's just a plug. There's nothing. Somebody's gone in the wiring harness and removed whatever it used to connect to. So it's completely charred and burned. There's another one. If you look at that there, you can see it's only a 2-core cable. So unlike the Royal Enfield side stand switch, it's just an on-off binary switch. Which I could replace. I don't know why, if I'd want to though, to be honest, because I find that stuff a pain. There's another shot, that's the actual sheathing on it. So I may just remove the side stand switch. I find it annoying on the Royal Enfield, I must admit, and if it goes wrong, you're stuck, aren't you? Now this is one of the block connectors on the wiring harness. You can see all that crud on the top right hand one there. Sorry, it's a bit blurred. So I use Deoxit, Kaig Deoxit, as I've mentioned in previous videos. It's 25 quid for a 142mm tin, so it is what it is. It costs 25 quid for a small tin, but you don't use much of it, and then you just spray it on and it removes all that oxide. So I'm going to do the whole wiring harness. That's it sprayed now, and you can see I'm going to leave it. It normally instantaneously removes all oxide, green copper oxide and white crud and stuff. So that was just a couple of random blocks on the wiring harness. I've done lots of the other ones anyway when I've been doing other work on the bike, but these were sort of inaccessible until I'd taken everything off the bike. But rather more serious is this. This is the connector to the rectifier regulator unit. And you can see it suffered from heat. So I'm either going to have to get a new harness or try and find that block connector that will go straight into the rectifier regulator, which on the Diversion is sensibly mounted on the bike in the airflow rather than having it under the bike like on the Royal Enfield so it can fry. But as I say, having said that, what's caused that will be dirt. It'll be dirt in those connectors. It anneals the copper. It gets slightly hot then it anneals the copper, and then the copper gets hot, and that anneals the copper, and it's a horrible, vicious circle. So I'm going to have to sort that adequately, one way or the other. So there is the bike at present. Not too bad for an evening's work. As I say, it's now sort of 9:45, and I think I've had enough for today. Rome wasn't built in a day, was it? So I've got to get the carbs off, which is easy. And then remove the steering yoke steering head, and I should be able to take all that off in one go with a caliper attached and everything. So there it is, folks, a little update. Wish me luck. In the meantime, watch how you go. If you're out in this awful weather on a motorbike, go home. It's horrible. And I'll post again on Friday with the results of the powder coating of the wheels and the other bits and bobs that I took in, and I'll keep doing a little video series on this. I've reached that point, as you may be familiar with, where you take everything off it and then you think to yourself, is it ever going to run again? I think it's natural when you rave something out like that. I've done it lots of times in the past, but my natural tendency is to think, oh no, it was working. Why did you do it? You're only doing it for appearance. It's just cosmetic. Why do you bother? Well, I've got my other bikes, so, I don't need to. And it's a good winter project, I suppose. So I hope it will run again once I've done all this. Let me know what you think in the comments. Now that I've started doing it, I will value any positive encouragement. I'm tired, actually. I've been at it non-stop. So let me know what you think, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.